Hello and welcome to PalaceFanTV for our Tottenham preview video. And to look forward to the game, I've got Flav from the Fighting Cock. Hello, mate.
I'm very. You didn't even ask me how I'm doing now.
I didn't.
I'm just going to go. Yeah, very well. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you very much for joining us for this preview video for Palace against Spurs. Now, Spurs' start hasn't quite been as good as Palace's so far this season. What have you made of it so far? You been happy? Have you seen positives?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very early days. I know it's a cliche, but it's really hard to take the table seriously this early on. I think a lot of people do focus on where you are currently rather than how the team's playing. There's so many variables. The game, again, to use another cliche, the game is about inches, and if we'd put just a few of the chances that we've created away, we'd be in a much better position. I mean, if you look at it, people are raving about Palace, and so they should be. Certainly the football you guys are playing has been very impressive and exciting to watch, and ours hasn't been. But if you think that if we would have picked up a few more points, or at least if we beat you at the weekend, which I'm hoping we will, it's likely that we'll be above you on goal difference. If it's more than one goal, if it's one goal, then we'll be equal. So, you know, the table really doesn't say much at the moment. But in terms of the way you're playing, I'm really impressed with Palace, and I really enjoy watching you play at the moment.
And have you seen? Is there much from the Spurs team so far that's made you think it's going to be a good season or a difficult season?
I think it's going to be a season like it has been for the last 4 or 5 years. I think if you look at what we spend on wages and you look at what other teams spend on wages, that's pretty much where you end up in the league, such as the Premier League. This time in our lives, and you know, and where football is at the moment, there is always an anomaly. This could well be that anomaly this year. It's Southampton last year, so there's always one team that kind of goes against that idea. But I think Spurs will probably finish 5th, 6th, or 7th. It doesn't really make much difference, really, in terms of, you know, either the worst that could happen is we don't qualify for the Europa League. I love the competition, actually. It's a lot of fun. I love going away. I'm off to Monaco in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
And, yeah, I know, you can't ask for more fun to be had as a fan of your football club than to go away in Europe. But if we weren't in it for a season, it would make things a lot easier. There's a lot of games to play, 60 games at least if you get to the final. We have got that far, but, you know, we played a lot of games last year, one of the most in Europe. And it does take its toll. And you know, and that's something you have to accept and prepare for the best you can, but it's very difficult.
Now, obviously, having a big squad probably helps when you've got more games. And you've signed this new lad from Leverkusen, whose name I'm going to try and get right, Heung-min.
As far as I'm aware, that is right. Yeah.
Fantastic, yes. He played his debut at the weekend against Sunderland. Are you impressed with what you've seen so far? I know it's not much, but do you like the look of him?
I'm optimistic because you have to be when you sign a player for that much money. I liked what I saw in flashes. It was the kind of debut that you'd expect from someone who's coming into the league. He was tidy. He was inventive in a kind of roundabout way. He was trying things that didn't necessarily come off. But I think his performance was reflective of the rest of the team and the way that game went, rather than him having a particularly bad game. You know, if you want to score it out of 10, it was sort of 6 maybe. It was kind of a little bit pedestrian. What I do like the look of him in terms of the what he's going to bring to the team. He looks powerful, direct, and inventive, and that's something that we've been lacking. He looks to move the ball quite quickly. The pace of Tottenham's play has come in for criticism. So I'm hoping that he'll bring that to the team. Whether he'll be able to is another. I mean, Tottenham have a knack of making really good players very, very average very quickly. And then occasionally you'll get a player that breaks that mould. But, you know, if any of our previous signings if he goes the way of our previous signings, then you've got to be a little bit concerned. But no, it is what it is. You've got to put faith, see what he does. And I have no. To be honest, it's really hard because I've seen him play 90 minutes of football and a few clips on YouTube where he looks like a world beater. So
yeah, well, everyone does on YouTube. I could look like a world beater on YouTube, to be honest, with the right editing. What's the deal with Harry Kane at the moment? Why is he not scoring goals?
Why is he not scoring goals? I don't know. I know that doesn't really help this sort of format. Last season, as everyone is well aware, he was unbelievable. 31 goals in a season for any striker in the world is an incredible return, and the fact that he did that, and he's one of our own, he's one of the local lads, and that kind of romantic stuff that football fans love. It was just an incredible season with so much to enjoy. It's always going to be difficult for him to replicate that and play. You know, he's been marked out as a danger man, which is really unbelievable if you think a couple of seasons ago. But from what I've seen so far, it isn't too difficult to play him out of the side. What should be happening is other players should be exploiting the spaces that have been left by defenders when dealing with Harry Kane, and so far that hasn't really happened. That said, I'm being kind of hypercritical at the moment because Kane has had chances, he just hasn't buried them, and that will come because naturally he is a goal scorer, and he's just suffering from a lack of. It's not even form. He's playing well. He's getting in positions. He's just not being able to finish the ball. I think a case in point against Sunderland was this ball came over to him, and last season he would have buried it, no doubt at all. But even after 3 or 4 games not scoring, as that ball was dropping, I had a doubt in my mind whether he'd be able to finish, and as it turned out, he didn't, and it went wide. But he's had a couple of offside goals ruled out. He scored 2 for England. His form isn't that bad, and he'll be fine. Tottenham will be fine.
Well, knowing Palace's knack of being generous, we'll probably let him score the first goal of the season on Saturday. What have your thoughts been on Pochettino? Because he's now been there a while at Spurs. Have the team been progressing? Are you happy with him as manager?
I think we're kind of about where we were when he started. He's not massively different to AVB. It's a little bit more inventive. It's a little bit more deliberate in trying to move the ball quickly up the field. I think Spurs are a difficult club to manage. Okay, we're treated as a dangerous team by other teams that come to White Hart Lane, and even away where they close up and try and hit us on the break, and that really is the best way to play Tottenham. It makes it really difficult to break them down. So we spend a lot of time, trying to pull the other team out of position to create spaces to move the ball into dangerous areas, and that's a really difficult thing to do when you don't have players like Aguero and the players Arsenal have, or even arguably Liverpool. If you can't afford those type of players, then breaking teams down at home is a very difficult thing to do. And I think you're going to see this actually the way Palace have been playing. I think certainly at Selhurst Park you're going to find teams closing up, and it makes for very boring football to watch, if I'm being honest, because all you can do is knock at the door and hopefully get an opportunity. And there's a lot of speculation, and there's a plan in place by Pochettino to deal with this type of football, and it's about being patient and being methodical with the football, and trying to get your players trying to create goal scoring opportunities. And like I say, we have been doing that. It's just not that exciting to watch. I much prefer watching Spurs play away. I really do, against kind of middle of the table teams. Ironically, I think Palace won't do that. And certainly even before Pardew, but certainly with Pardew, you've been an attacking force, and you're looking to score goals and be exciting. And I said something similar when previewing the game on our podcast last year, where I thought we'd be able to deal with Palace because they're going to open up. And as it turned out, we didn't deal that well. We struggled at times. So it's going to be an interesting one on Saturday. I love the width you've got in your team, your wingers. I'd take them. I'd take Wilfried Zaha. I know we were linked with Balassi. I wanted to ask you actually it was mooted that he was going to be sold or could be sold for about 25 million. That seemed like a lot of money to pay for him. Is it?
I think in the modern market, it's probably not, because all the prices are inflated at the moment. But Palace are in a position really where they can kind of charge whatever they want, I think, and see who makes the bid. But is that something Spurs would pay? Would they come back with 20 or 25 million next window for Balassi?
Depends where we are. How desperate we get. I don't think we need Balassi. I would like him. He's exciting. Mate, not really. Not. If I had the choice out of Balassi and spending 25 million, I probably wouldn't at this stage. But I might get desperate, like Lev might get desperate in come January, depending on where we are. He's exciting and may have that kind of difference. I think we do have a player, and you may laugh at me for saying this, that could probably do a similar job to him, and that's Andros Townsend. He's not. He came off the bench against Sunderland and changed the game. Not because he's an amazing player, but he does have a way of being direct and getting to the byline and crossing or shooting. And I'm not sure if that fits into Pochettino's plans. It's pretty much he seems to get on the pitch and has his own agenda and he just gets on with it. And that's probably why he doesn't play more. But in terms of directness and attacking play in that sense, in the same way that I would imagine Balassi would do, then maybe we don't need him. But I love your attacking play. I'm really impressed with punching as well. Mm-hmm. The only thing at place I would say that you might be a little lacking, although this is from a distance, would be up front. Mm-hmm. I know Murray's is there, isn't he? And Wickham, he's only played a game though. Is that right?
Wickham's played a couple. Murray's gone to Bournemouth, unfortunately.
Oh, is he?
So you're absolutely right. We are lacking up front, and a lot of Palace fans feel the same way. And in fact, the striker was what we wanted in the summer. Yes, we got Cabaye, and he's fantastic, but striker really was what we wanted.
I forgot to mention him. I mean, our problem position at the moment is defensive midfield. Mason went off injured, scoring his goal. Bentaleb's out for a month. So we've got Eric Dyer, who isn't a defensive midfielder. Conversely, he's been one of our best players playing in that position. So we're going to struggle there. Dembele's not fit either. He went off injured. So a player I was shocked when Cabaye signed. That was an amazing, amazing work signing him. He is top draw, that geezer, and it's an incredible signing for Palace. But you know what? A player like that deserves to play in a team that's attacking and inventive the way you lot are. And good luck to him and to you.
Well, let's do a prediction then. How do you think it's going to go, and what's the score going to be?
I think it's going to be. I think Spurs will take it 3-2.
Oh, okay. That'd be a good game, wouldn't it? Sounds like a good game.
Yeah.
Good.
How about you?
I think 2-1 Palace.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's going to be tight.
I could easily see it.
Well, listen, mate. Thank you very much for joining us here on PalaceFanTV. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
And there'll be a link to the Fighting Cock below this video, so check them out as well. And listeners, viewers, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to PalaceFanTV for weekly videos and comment below with your prediction for the game. Can Palace get a result at White Hart Lane? And we'll see you again soon. Cheers.